Nation? This is your boy, Dub Raider. Welcome to another episode of the Raider Nation Weekly Wire. With me today, he is the voice of the Silver and Black, the man that's hotter than Las Vegas summers, the co-captain of this wild ride we call the Weekly Wire, my man, Chris from Protect the Shield. My brother, welcome. I hope your new schedule is agreeing with you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah. The schedule is I won't say agreeing, but it's you know, it is what it is, but it pays the bills. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
That's the only way. So, but yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm glad to be back. I know we had to miss last week, but man, salute to you and all the fire content that you've been doing.
Thank you, brother.
Even though me and you haven't been able to do a show, you still feeding the people, man. You still feeding us, so it's all good.
We got you, brother. I've learned from the best.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You know, I see you guys hustling, grinding, and doing what you do, you know, on a continuous basis, and that just motivates me to do more as well. You know,
Sure.
try and put content out on these light months of Raider football.
Yeah, for sure.
It
For
is
sure.
definitely very, very light. But at the end of the day, we still got each other. You know, we can still talk. We still have our mouths and voices,
Yep.
and we're gonna put information out there that, you know, we feel is at least some form of entertainment for the Raider Nation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, Raider Nation, this week on the Weekly Wire, for Chris's Weekly Word, we have a couple of topics. Nothing new. AJ Cole's contract, OTA updates, the Madden movie. If you guys haven't heard about that, Stogie Nation's back. We're excited about that. There's also QB battle rumors, AOC versus Gino, and also Raider Nation roll call. Another episode dropping on Tuesday. I interviewed Severe Raider, one third of the Raider War Room with Chris and 805. Finally finished up the group. I started with Chris, then 805, and now Severe. So that's going to be dropping Tuesday. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. But those are going to be our topics for Chris's Weekly Word. Also for Football 101, we're going to dive into special teams. You know, this is, I think, one of the as far as fans of my level is the part of the team that a lot of people really don't focus or put a lot of emphasis on, and it's special teams. And special teams are very important. You know, Chris will definitely help us to understand the special teams aspect of football and of our team. So, Chris, are you ready?
Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
So we're gonna start with Chris's Weekly Word. Our first topic, you know, it's a little old, but we want to congratulate AJ Cole for his contract extension. You know, he's definitely one of our stars in our team. You know, he's actually proven himself since you know, he was picked up as what was he, an undrafted free agent, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
He has enough undrafted free agent, and you know, he just climbed the ranks, and now he's God, I forgot. What is he getting? 15 mil or?
Yeah, the total value is like a little under 16 mil, something like 15.8 or something.
For 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yep, 4 years.
Yeah,
yep.
4 or 5 years. So, you know, that's cool. But to be totally honest, Chris, and maybe you can explain this to me, this came out of left field for me. I wasn't expecting to hear of an extension for AJ Cole for, you know, maybe like a year or so.
Yeah.
But, you know, they just came out, they extended him, gave him more money, larger contract. Was there a reason behind this? Did you hear any like, you know, anything out there that, you know, he was looking for more money or, you know, anything?
Not really. Honestly, I mean, I really wasn't expecting it either. And honestly, it's like, you know, if our offense is supposed to be as good as it's supposed to be, you know, hopefully we're not punting as much. But,
Right.
you know, but regardless, you know, he's the best in the business. I mean, he's a true weapon. He's gotten us out of some tight situations just with him being able to kick that ball the way he can kick it. You know, he's not a Shane Leckler, but, you know, he's mighty close. You know, so it's you know, well deserved. And at the end of the day, punters don't make a whole lot of money anyway. Right. So even like his extension is not like he got a whole bunch more money. Because I think his previous contract may have been like 4 years, maybe like 14 point something or whatever. Right. So it's not like he's getting like something real crazy, but he is a weapon, you know, and I'm always about, you know, taking care of your guys, you know, your homegrown guys, the guys that's been going above and beyond, you know, the Call of Duty, going above and beyond expectations. Yeah.
Take care of your own first.
Yeah, you got to. So yeah, but salute to AJ Cole, man. You know,
yes, sir.
And for one, he's a heck of a personality too. I don't know if you had a chance to like just listen to his press conferences, but he's just a funny guy.
Yeah, he is. Very lighthearted.
Very lighthearted, and you even hear some of the other teammates talk about him. You know, he's one of the funniest guys on the team. Just good personality. Everybody loves him, man. So everybody's happy for him.
Yeah, no, I am definitely happy that he did get an extension, that he's going to be with us for many more years, because he's proven himself.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good precedence to the rest of the team that if you ball out, if you do what you got to do,
get rewarded.
The team will compensate you.
Absolutely.
They will take care of you. So hopefully that's the message that, the front office was trying to convey to the team. But at the end of the day, congratulations, AJ. You definitely deserve it, and continue kicking those balls from end zone to end zone, like you know how to do, my brother.
Get it.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, the next topic, we have the OTAs. They've been going for like 2 weeks now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, yep, something like that.
For those that don't know, what are OTAs, Chris?
So they're organized team activities. So it's basically, and they put a limit on how many you can do, but it's basically just team practices where they can do drills and stuff like that. You're not allowed to do any like 12-on-12 stuff, I don't think. But I know you
contact, right?
Yeah. So it's definitely non-contact, or you might be able to do 12. I can't remember, but yeah, it's definitely non-contact. And again, it's it's not mandatory, so guys don't have to go, but it's highly recommended. It's kind of one of those things. It's like an unwritten rule, like, hey, you need to be there type thing. So
right, you don't got to be there, but you got to be there.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, because like technically they're not allowed to make guys go there. So like if guys don't show up, you're not, the team can't fine you or anything like that. So
and what I noticed, that usually when players don't show up, that's when the media goes crazy. They're holding out, and they just start making shit up.
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, it's definitely a good time for the team to start bonding. You start getting the new players kind of acclimated with each other and things like that, especially rookies. Definitely big for rookies.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of videos from Raiders.com of the actual OTAs, and it seems like they're having a blast, man. They're having a good time. They're playing around. I saw Coach Kaale. He locked somebody down on a wrestling pose, and and Max Crosby was counting them out.
Yeah,
man, it just looks like they're having fun, like they're gelling. They're actually making that connection, which I think is definitely a good start. Because they're gonna be doing this for what, I think another week.
Something like that.
Yeah, about another week, and then they go off on summer break.
Yeah,
and then they come back. I think it's early August or late July, something like that. I don't remember the dates. Yeah, so they come back, and then the real training starts. But so far it's looking good. Have you heard any positives from what's going on at OTAs?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you're hearing a lot of good stuff about the rookies. You're hearing that Genty's looking good, and again, as a running back, when you can't get tackled, can't have no contact, of course you're going to kind of look good. But as far as so we're not really going to see what Genty is until preseason, and we may hear some stuff like during when they had those dual practices or the joint practices. But you're hearing good stuff about him. I'm hearing a lot about Dante Thornton, our big receiver that we got with the speed. He's really turning some heads. Hearing a lot of good things about Darian Porter, our cornerback. He's a real Pete Carroll type corner. So hearing a lot of good things about him. So it's just, at this point, like you said, it's all about getting that camaraderie. You can tell by a lot of the press conferences and interviews and stuff. Guys are having fun, but they're working hard. They're competing. So, that's kind of stuff you wouldn't hear at this time of year,
Definitely.
So doesn't seem like we're having too many distractions. So, like, everyone's kind of focused and, working hard. So, it is what it is.
Now, let me ask you, since you mentioned a lot of the drafted players, most of these guys have signed their contracts already, but I've been hearing rumblings about Jack Besh. Have you heard? Is he signed or isn't he?
See, honestly, I've been trying to figure that out myself, because I originally heard that all the rookies were signed by minicamp. So, but then again, I've been hearing I read some articles saying that he's the only one that hasn't signed. And I guess there's been the second round picks just throughout the league have been kind of dragging their feet, because they want their contract fully guaranteed and stuff like that. So yeah, so I honestly, I've been hearing different reports, so I probably got to dig in there a little bit deeper. I may actually text Ja Joyner just to see if I can get some
there you
intel,
go.
man. Like, hey, I know you're busy, but just real quick, is Jack Besh out there or not? So, I may try to get that info.
Yeah, because there's been a couple of content creators that have been talking about that. How that they're saying that he's not signed.
Yeah.
And others, there's actually like reputable reporters, not many, they're saying that he is signed. I looked on Raiders.com where they give like, I guess, news updates on everybody, all the draftees.
Yeah.
And it shows everybody but him being signed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if Raiders.com isn't showing it, and then I also looked at ESPN and NFL Network, and no one else is mentioning that he's been signed. So
yeah,
I'm like, I hope he is, because I know he's definitely one of the wide receivers we're counting on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For next season. And we don't want that distraction to go into their break and cause any problems, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But other than that, any other good, bad, or other news that you've heard of OTAs?
Yeah, that's about it. Just hearing a lot about that. Still kind of there's the news about Christian Wilkins' injury. So just trying to kind of, I guess it is kind of an uphill battle for him, just trying to get over that injury. But sounds like some of the young guys really been stepping up and getting some good reps in and showing some good motor and work ethic. So, once he does come back, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I just hope that they don't rush him back.
Exactly. No reason to.
Let him get 100%. It doesn't matter if it's 2-3 games into the regular season. Yeah. Let him get 100%. Because there's no point in getting him back still hurt and then him re-aggravating, and then we lose him for a lot more.
Exactly. Just don't let him heal all the way. We need him for the long hauls.
Definitely. Especially the back end of the season. That's usually where we definitely struggle. So let's get Wilkins healthy, 100%.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So that's all the updates on OTAs. Now, this Madden movie.
Yeah.
What have you heard about that, man? All I've seen is a really awesome picture of what's his name? The Batman dude.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale and
Nicolas Cage.
I'm fucking
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I got old man brain right now.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage and Bale. That the picture online, dude. They definitely look the part.
Yeah.
They definitely look the part. I'm excited to watch this movie because obviously it's the Madden movie. It's about John Madden and his career and, the whole video game and whatnot, but what are your expectations for this movie, Chris? Like, what do you want to see?
I mean, the crazy thing is, like, those are two actors that I really respect. I like Nicolas Cage and I like Christian Bale as well. So I'm expecting, a good performance by both of them. I do want to see kind of that Madden's big personality come to light. Just his fun personality, just show his grind. I forgot where he's from, but just show his grind.
From Northern California.
Okay.
He's from Pleasanton, California.
Okay.
That's actually where my best friend lives, one city north of there.
Nice. Okay, so he's a Kaale guy. Yeah. So, just his whole upbringing, I want to see, just his time as a player when he played and, just how he became a coach and, how he was a youngest coach. Like, so I'm excited to see all that. And of course, you want to see Christian Bale as Al Davis.
Davis.
Yes, sir. You want to see how he's going to bring that to light, So, and again, Christian Bale's a great actor. So, and Al Davis is such a iconic personality, and has an iconic look. So, there's a lot of potential to really do some good things with this. And honestly, it's good to see, one of our own, Raiders on the big screen and, so that's going to be fire, man. It's going to be fire.
What I'm excited about is that both of these guys are method actors.
Yeah.
That means that, they get into the role. They become their characters.
Yeah.
And I hope that they allow them to actually become Al and John. And
I think they have to. I really think they have to, because when you get actors of that caliber, you got to kind of let them do their thing, man. Let them do their thing.
Definitely. Yeah. And I'm hoping to see, because I'm fearful that they're going to base it more on the back end of Madden's career, to where, maybe the Super Bowl and then his commentating career and then the Madden football
in the video game. Yeah.
That's where I think it's going to be, where I'm hoping it's the front end.
Yeah.
Like you're mentioning, his football career, his coaching career, and then a little bit of everything else. Because it's I saw Madden's documentary, the video game documentary, and it was excellent.
Yeah.
But I would like to see his story, his life story, and how he never flew. He always drove everywhere because he hated flying, and he had his bus, like Greyhound, and it'd take him everywhere.
Yeah.
And, just all those little nuances that made John Madden who he is. That's what I want to see.
And honestly, and I hope so. And I think that's kind of the direction they want to go, because, I think a lot of people know the video game side of them or the commentating side. But especially a lot of these young kids, they play this Madden game and really have no clue who he is. So I think this is a good, teaching opportunity, for these kids to understand, hey, this is not just a cool video game. This guy was a legend. He was a before his time.
Hall of Famer.
And he was able to manage multiple personalities, multiple type of personalities.
Oh yeah,
when he was a coach.
Very disgruntled individuals.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's I'm really hoping they really do this film some justice and do it the right way.
Most definitely, man. I'm excited. I don't think they've set a date yet, but I know it's going to be probably in the fall.
Yeah.
The time that's going to come out, and I'm going to be the first one to. Because I think it's going to be on either Netflix or one of those pay sites, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure.
I didn't hear about it making it to the theaters. If it does, I'm definitely going to go.
Oh, yeah, got to support it for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, because what you were mentioning about the youngsters not having knowledge of who Madden is other than the football game.
Yeah.
I actually had that experience with my son, because my son plays Madden. He's 7 years old.
Has no idea.
I told him, Madden was a Raider, right? He was? He's like, yeah, John Madden, he was our coach. And, I started playing to him. And now the video game has taken another life. Because now he knows that it's associated with the Raiders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's an awesome feeling, man. That's an awesome feeling to know that John Madden is going to be immortalized in the big screen or TV screen or however it is that they're going to put it out there. But yeah, so Raider Nation, when it comes out, check it out, please.
Got to
support our family. All right, next we're gonna do a little switch. We're gonna talk about some QB battle rumors that are out there. There's been some information on social media about OTAs that there's a quarterback battle and that AOC is looking better than Geno. And I'm like, come on, man. Chris, please drop some knowledge on the people.
No, it's sad, man. It's we have a certain group of fans, man. It's they won't give up on this AOC thing. AOC was not good enough to beat Gardner Minshew. AOC he's not a good quarterback. He will always be a backup quarterback. He's a backup caliber quarterback. When it's all said and done, AOC will not have a better career than Gardner Minshew had. He won't even have a better career than Gardner Minshew. He's not that guy. Hopefully he can, have a career where he's maybe a backup for a long time and, get some checks and, make some money for himself. But as far as getting out there, leading a team, he's not going to do it. He's not fat or he's not athletic enough in today's game. And then if you aren't super athletic, it's fine, but he doesn't have the arm talent to overcompensate for it. So right now it is, it's mini camp or it's OTAs. You cannot get super overhyped about, what's going on right now. Right now is when, quarterbacks and offenses are installing stuff. Right now is when the quarterbacks are trying to make those throws that they wouldn't really make in a real game. Right now is when you try to see, okay, if I threw it here, you try things. So, the idea that AOC is going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders is absurd. It's absurd. He has to learn a whole new system himself. So it's almost like he's a rookie once again. It gets exhausting kind of dealing with these AOC guys, man. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I honestly, it made me laugh.
Yeah.
First of all, there is no competition right now.
Right.
It's the OTAs. It's just basically like a pre-summer practice. Just like
they did not trade for Geno and give up a third-round pick for him to be in any kind of competition. He is the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
It's just absurd. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring this out, and let everybody know that, don't believe the hype. It's just people, unfortunately, not having a lot of news out there, just trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, a lot of clickbait, just people trying to get views, people trying to cause a little controversy, plus just pushing narratives and getting the Raider fans riled up. But most people that kind of understand football and understand kind of what's going on, we know the deal.
Yeah, so Raider Nation, don't buy what they're selling. It's just rumors. There's no competition. Geno Smith is going to be our starter. AOC is going to be our backup. Yep. So we're okay in that aspect. Yep. Geno has his position. Let's wait and see what happens in the future. Yeah. But right now, Geno's our starting quarterback. All right, now Stogie Nation, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
it's back. I'm very excited. I know this channel is more talking about Raider news, but I believe Stogie Nation is Raider news because it's more content that we're trying to put out there for you, the cigar aficionados or the individuals that are interested in smoking cigars like our Raider players do. They smoke their shit, talk their shit the Raider way, and that's what we're trying to convey with the Stogie Nation. I'm very excited to bring this back. Unfortunately, MC Raider, he's a very busy man, has a successful comedy career going on. He has family, he has work, and we just couldn't get together. So I was able to get in contact with another content creator from TikTok. He goes by the name of Legacy of the Shield, and he was interested. We recorded our first episode, dropped last week, and it's great. We have a couple of things lined up, and I'm very excited to put this content out for you. I don't know what else to say. I'm just very happy that I'm able to do this for you, that I'm able to reach out to the Raider Nation, to have the support of my brothers like Chris and everybody else that have been saying how great it is. I'm just very excited, and I hope you guys can tune in. It's on this same channel, Stogie Nation. We have one episode down, another one coming up. Just finished talking to a cigar company from Nicaragua. We're going to do a interview with them online, hopefully in about a week or so. I'm also in talks with Violator. Hopefully we can review his cigars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's here local.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a meetup spot to review the Violator cigars. And then also we have plenty of other cigars that we want to review and let you guys know about. And then, just learn the process together, because it's definitely a good celebratory tool, at least that the Raider Nation has, or not necessarily the Raider Nation, the Raider team has taken as their little celebration in the locker room every time they got a win, even though it was only 4, but they enjoyed it.
Yeah,
they enjoyed it. But yeah, man, I'm so excited that Stogie Nation is back, and I hope you are too, Raider Nation. Hopefully, Chris, when we see each other in Vegas, I hope we can maybe do a little episode of Stogie Nation.
Let's do it.
Watch you puff away with us.
Let's do it. I'm with it, man. Let's get it.
Man. Yeah, I'm very excited. So Raider Nation, again, Stogie Nation on my channel here on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, follow. If you guys have any cigars or any lounges that you guys know about, please drop me a line and let me know, and we will go out there, get the cigars, or go to the lounges, ask permission to do an interview and a review, because we want to let you guys know what's going on out there with the Stogie Nation.
Yeah. Such a fire show. Such a fire show. I'm so glad you brought it back, man. And
I appreciate it.
I could tell that you have fun doing it. And like I said, you and Legacy, you guys really got good rapport. So I'm excited to see you guys grow.
Thankfully, because I definitely love doing it with MC Raider, because he's
a personality.
Yes, he is. And then he's easy to talk to. He's easy to like banter with as far as cigars and life and comedy and everything. But life gets in the way, and you just have to roll with the punches and move forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, Raider Nation, Stogie Nation, check it out. All right, let's go to, actually, is there anything else that you've heard out there, Chris? Because I'm dry. That's all the news I really have for the Raider organization. Other than for the Raider organization, that's it.
Yeah, there's not much going on, because again, like I say, it's OTAs going on, and again, you can only take so much of what you hear from that. So
right.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think once we get closer, like the training camp and stuff like that, it'll really start hitting the ground.
Something not Raider related that just kind of made me laugh. I have to congratulate the Pittsburgh Steelers for their acquisition of their new quarterback. Aaron Rodgers. Definitely got a good quarterback, but you also have a diva. So
Diva. And honestly, Mike Tomlin's not the type that's going to deal with that madness either. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yes. When I heard that the Steelers got him, I'm like, oh man, two alphas going at each other.
Yeah. That could be interesting. That could be interesting.
Yeah. So Steelers, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. You definitely have a great quarterback, but you also have a diva in your hands.
Yeah. Like, will it be worth it?
Hopefully they get the great quarterback and not the diva.
Yeah, but I think honestly, I think that's just who he is, man. Unfortunately, he's it's crazy because a lot of people felt sorry for him, the way that Brett Favre treated him and how Brett Favre was kind of a diva, towards the end. And I think Rodgers is way worse of a leader and everything else than Brett Favre was. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Man. I just feel sorry for them. The only thing I can say is better you than me.
Better you than me, yeah. They wouldn't feel sorry for us if it was us, trust me.
Of course.
Yeah, so, but whatever. Enjoy it, Steelers.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to be watching Steeler games this season.
Yeah, oh yeah.
See what happens out there.
Yeah.
But other than that, Chris, do you have any other news or anything else that you've heard of? Or
nothing I could think of right now, man. I think we really touched on, a lot of the key points. And, again, I think, we'll probably hear some stuff, in the coming days, maybe some cuts or things like that. But yeah, I think we pretty much hit everything.
Okay. Yeah, because the only other thing I've heard is that they're going to be cutting some players. That the big rumor of what's his face from Miami, the cornerback.
The quarterback.
Corner.
Jalen Ramsey. Yeah.
But again, that's all hearsay, speculation.
Yeah, it's all speculation until
I don't really want to get into that until it's actually factual.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, that's really about it for Chris's Weekly Word. If you guys have any information, any news, anything that you want us to cover, let us know. Because it is the dry season for the next probably month or so. So
yeah, it is.
Anything you guys want to talk about? Chris's shoe size, what Chris eats for breakfast, you ask.
I don't miss many meals. What
Chris likes to sip on.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, just let us know, Raider Nation. Well, there it is, 1800. Is it the clear or the
Neho or whatever?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
have you ever tried 1800 with a pineapple juice chaser?
I'm sure I've had it before. Yeah.
Oh man, that is bomb.
Yeah.
I used to when in my youngin' years at clubs, I used to order 1800 with pineapple juice, just pop. Oh,
yeah.
It out so good.
Oh yeah.
So good. But anyway, all right, Raider Nation, let's get back on focus here.
Me and Dub gonna start pouring up, and we're gonna have an after hours show.
Oh man, like your 5 a.m. show.
Oh yeah, you know how that goes.
All right, Raider Nation. So now we're gonna go into Football 101. This is where we cover the X's and O's, the deep look into what football is, especially Raider football. This week we're gonna cover special teams. We already covered the offense, we covered the defense, we covered coaches. So now we're gonna go into special teams. Like I mentioned earlier, special teams doesn't really get a lot of notoriety because it's just kicker, punters, return team, stuff like that. But it is actually a very vital position within our team. That just kind of gets pushed aside because we have our quarterbacks, we have our wide receivers, we have our defensive ends, tackles, and all the other star players. So we gotta give the special teams their time in the limelight. So let's start off, Chris, with explaining what special teams is first and foremost.
Yeah, so special teams is, because football is made up of, 3 pillars, the offense, defense, and special teams. Special teams is, there's different things. So, it could be the punt team, it could be the field goal team, the punt return team. So, it's basically, from a field goal standpoint, those are, the guys that are kicking the field goals and trying to get extra, get additional points. And then the punting team, like AJ Cole, who just got the contract, he's the guy that, hey, when our offense gets stopped, we punt the ball away to try to change the field position, right. So that's why it's such a weapon, because when you have, like when you're back all the way into your own end zone, having a guy like AJ Cole who can boot it 80 yards, that flips the, so that gives your defense a chance to kind of make some plays and help, shift the the line of scrimmage and possession and all that stuff. So I mean,
especially having a lackluster offense like we had last season.
Oh yeah.
AJ Cole killed it for us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely killed it. If it wasn't for him, man, we would have gotten stomped.
Yeah.
By every freaking team.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's just so important. Anything regarding kind of kicking or anything that's the special teams, and again, there's different positions, for the special teams, because of course, we got the place kicker. That's the guy that actually kicks the ball, like for the field goals when the ball's on the ground. Kick it. Then you got the punter. So again, that's the one that's holding the ball up and punting it. You got the holder. The holder's a very a lot of times the holder can be the punter. So it's basically
that's usually the case, right?
Yeah, because it used to always be like the backup quarterback back in the day, but a lot of times it's the punter now that holds the ball for the kicker when they do the extra point and when they do the field goal. Because I
remember prior to Carlson, Shane Leckler always used to hold for Janikowski.
Yeah, he did. Yep. So and I think what the idea behind it is because like the special team, like during practice, special teams does so much stuff together. So like instead of taking a quarterback and having them go on the other field to practice, those guys are already kind of together anyway, the kickers and punters. So you just get a long snapper and that holding position is pretty important because he has to catch the ball and then he has to be able to place the ball down and make sure usually they spin the ball so the laces are out, because when the kicker kicks the ball with the laces in, it takes off. It can go anywhere. They have less control over it. So I don't know if you guys watch Ace Ventura. I don't know, remember that man, but laces out, man, laces out.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
And then like I said, the long snapper, back in the day, they used to be like the center, but now there's a real long snapper, and that's like his only job is just to be the long snapper, and he's the one that's snapping the ball to the holder. And that's
how
important.
awesome is that to be in that position?
Yeah,
where that's all you do.
That's all you do.
One thing.
That's it. That's it, man. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but it's a bad snap can mess the whole thing up, man. And a lot of times when you kick, like, imagine, how many games there's like last second field goals. Imagine you being the guy that snaps the ball over the holder's head. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's definitely a high stress position.
Oh yeah.
But being that you're only practicing one thing, I think it definitely, you definitely have to have that position down packed, because all you're doing is snapping the ball.
Yeah.
That's it. Snapping the ball. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So as far as like the kicking team, because I know there's a line protecting the kicker. There's a long snapper, there's the holder, and then the kicker. When it comes to the line, are these defensive players or are these special team players? Like players that are maybe like backups or secondary positions?
Yeah, a lot of times, especially on the punt team, I mean, it's a lot of the backup players, like some of the backup linebackers, backup safeties, fullbacks, linebackers, stuff like that. Guys that are athletic, guys that can run, because you got to have a good, you got to be pretty diverse in your skill set. So, because like, especially like the punt team, you got guys that's kind of up front, but then you got guys that are kind of like the up backs, the kind of protectors, but those guys, like after the ball is, so as soon as the ball snapped, you're blocking. So you're blocking, but as soon as that ball is punted, it's like you're a defensive player because you're running downfield and you got to tackle the guys. So you got to have kind of a skill set of being able to do both. And a lot of times that's how some of the people that lower on the depth chart, that's how they make the team, being a good special teams player. Showing your value there. That's
what I was going to ask you, is because I've known that there's some players that are on the bubble.
Yeah.
That the coaching staff isn't too sure if they want to drop them, if they want to keep them, and they tend to stay because of their
special teams, impact. Yeah, absolutely. Like honestly, like if it's between like you'll see whenever we do kind of like our roster breakdowns, like who we think is going to get cut and stuff like that. Like once it gets closer to like the third preseason game, you'll see that we kind of will go over like who we think is going to make the team, who's on the bubble and all that. And a lot of our conversation is going to be, hey, both these guys are pretty good, but person A, he brings a lot more to the table in special teams. So I think he's going to get the nod over person B. So, we take a lot of that into account.
And then there's a position, I believe it's in the punting team. I forgot not strikers, the
gunner.
Gunner, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so
what are those guys?
Yeah, so the gunners are the ones that they're sprinting downfield. They're sprinting downfield to try to make the tackle. Those are and a lot of times those are DBs or even wide receivers. I know a few years back, Mac Hollins, he was our big receiver, but he used to go down there and he was great at the gunner position. Because for one, he's good at getting off the line, because there's always a guy that's on the other side. They're called a jammer. They try to block them, but you get those gunners down there. They are the punter's best friend, because the punter puts that ball high up in the air, and that gunner's down there making that tackle as soon as they catch the ball. So those two work very closely together.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I never really truly understood how important the special teams was until I saw Janikowski and Shane Leckler get out there and do what they did.
Oh yeah.
Man,
because you got to think from a special team standpoint. You get someone like Janikowski, like all you got to do is get to the 50-yard line and you can at least get some points, so, and that's a big deal.
Definitely. Yeah, my man had a boot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was able to do it. So that gave the offense, that comfort level of knowing, okay, we only technically have to make it here, and we can at least
get some points. Yeah, exactly.
Right. To where other teams, that's not
they gotta get 20 yards further. Yep,
definitely. So I think that's definitely a pivotal point, at least to our team, when it's come to special teams, that we've had. I don't want to say if it's the luck or the ability to choose these players correctly, or they've just had so much practice because they're always either punting or kicking field goals that they've gotten so good.
Yeah.
But they're definitely big weapon, when it comes to scoring points or pushing the team back.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have heard, that it's been a long time since we've actually returned the ball for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
By our special teams. I think it was, what's his name? Oh my God, I got a picture with him right there.
I don't remember the last person that did it, honestly.
Not Michael Bush. I forgot his name, but it's like I would say mid-2000s.
Yeah, it's probably been a minute. Yeah, it's probably been a minute for sure.
Was the last individual that's actually run the ball back and scored a touchdown on a special team.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So what does it take for like the receiving player that gets the ball punted to him? What's the importance of that position? Because I hear he runs 30 yards and gets tackled, and they're like, oh, that was a great run. What constitutes a great run when it comes to, like, what is it, a punt returner?
A punt, yeah. So usually a punt, if you could break that first tackle, a lot of times, like, if you can get past that original gunner, it's usually a good thing, because the way that when they the way that the punt team goes, they punt the ball, and then the line, you'll see them when the punt's in the air, the line, they have lanes. So basically the guys will kind of form, it's supposed to be almost like an umbrella, and they all have lanes and they got to stay in their lane. So the punter, when he gets the ball, he has blockers in front of him, and they're blocking the guys that are coming down, and they're coming in their lane. But usually if the guy can kind of break that first tackle, usually after that, anything after that is considered kind of a good run. So, but like if a guy punts the ball and he's kind of like going back and forth and kind of, sometimes they'll go backwards to try to outrun someone.
Right.
That's usually, no good. But, if you can beat that first guy, then that gives you a little bit of wiggle room, and usually it becomes a pretty decent return.
So what would you call in yards a successful return? How many yards?
I mean, it could be something as like, it could be 15 yards, 15, 20-yard return. That's a good. Of course, you would love them to take it to the house, but
definitely.
But honestly, if someone punts my guy the ball and he gets the ball at the 20-yard line and he can get me to the 35, 40-yard line, I love it, because now I'm a pass or two away from being on the other side of the field. So you always want to get on that 50 pass of 50. They call that plus territory. So a 15, 20-yard, punt, even if a guy catches the ball, on the goal line and he can get me to the 20, 25-yard line. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Like there was this player from the Chicago Bears.
Hester.
I forget his. Yeah, Devin Hester.
Yeah.
He was
a weapon.
Boy was amazing. He had speed. He had agility, maneuverability. He can do it.
Punters lost. Actually, coaches have lost their job just because they punted to him. Because like maybe like a head coach will tell the special teams coach, do not punt it to Devin Hester. Punt it out of bounds.
Right.
And that punter would punt it to Devin Hester, and Hester would get a long return or score a touchdown. Next thing you know, on the news, oh, so-and-so's special teams coach has got fired. So
yeah,
like that's how much of a weapon he was. And I remember, I think it was Shane Leckler. I think we had him during that time. I remember there was like a big controversy, like, will Leckler punt it to him or will he punt it out of bounds? And I remember Leckler was like, oh, I'm punting to him. I'm the best in the business. So I think because Leckler was always known for his hang time, like how long it was in the air. By the time anyone could catch it, the gunner's already on your butt. So
correct me if I'm wrong. They started actually counting the hang time of a football based on Ray Guy's kicks, right?
Probably. Yeah. Ray used to put it up there, man. Be like, golly, how long is that ball gonna be up there? So yeah, you're probably right. Ray Guy was a beast. Salute to Ray.
I remember reading that somewhere where before Ray Guy, they didn't have that.
It makes sense. It makes sense. He was different
because he had a boot.
Yeah, he was different. He was different.
Yeah, but yeah, man, special teams is definitely something that I am actually paying more attention to now.
Yeah.
Especially because, of course, our team hasn't been doing very well, and special teams is kind of our equalizer.
Yeah.
To where it brings us back to like a level playing field.
Yep.
To where if we were held back, we'd go 3 and out. We were still in our side of the field. The punter would always get us there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If we weren't able to score the touchdown, our kicker would at least get us 3 points.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that I would always look forward to watching, because I know that even though our offense might not have been good, our defense might not have been good, but for some reason, and I'm thankful for it, we can pick special teams
every year. Yeah, every time. We don't miss.
Yeah.
We don't miss.
I wish whoever does that pick could, I guess, give advice to our general manager or whomever to pick other players, because we need that magic.
Yeah.
We need that magic on how they pick, because, Sebastian Janikowski, Shane Leckler, they were with us for 2 decades? Give or take.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was a long time.
As long as I can remember. Yeah. Janikowski was there. I was surprised because he was picked number 1 first and foremost.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But he was definitely worth it. And then Shane Leckler, he was definitely worth it.
He's a beast.
And they kicked butt for many, many years.
Yeah. They're a good tandem.
What's his name? Not before Daniel Carlson. Before AJ Cole.
Marquette King.
He
was a beast too. I liked him.
He was.
I liked him.
He was amazing. He was just a little too out there.
Yeah.
I think it just rubbed
Gruden. Yeah, Gruden. It was rubbed Gruden the wrong way. Gruden's not big on flashiness. As far as like punting that ball, that boy was,
he had the ability.
Oh, he was every bit of a weapon, man. Every bit of a weapon. And I think that it was. I hated seeing Marquette go, man. It was tough, but Gruden just doesn't like those type personalities.
Yeah, but what's cool about Marquette King though? Even though he got let go, you could still catch him at J-Lot.
Man, he
partying with the Raiders.
He's so cool, down to earth, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got to talk to him. I think it was a year before last.
Yeah,
I saw him at J-Lot. Went up to him. Told him thanks for everything that he did. Sorry he couldn't come back to the team, and he was cool. We took a drink together, took a picture. Very, very cool.
Yeah, no, he's mad cool. Like I remember talking to him, man. I was like, man, what happened? Like, why did you? When you left, he was like, man, it was Gruden. He was like, I was Gruden. Like I was happy that he got here. Like when he came in, I brought him a gift and all this stuff, and it was like, he was just mad at. Just my reputation or whatever. But he was like, I worked hard, but I I had a personality. He was like, this Gruden just didn't like it. So
because honestly, I didn't see what the big problem was.
Me either.
With him. He celebrated okay. He wasn't disrespectful.
Yeah.
He was having a good time. That's what the players should be doing. Right?
No, they should. I think Gruden's biggest thing was like, the game of football is hard enough. I don't need my punter getting us a penalty. So I think the fact that he got penalty, for, I forgot what it was. I think he like threw the flag, he threw the ref's flag or did something, but honestly, that's something that you can have a conversation with the guy about. Like,
right.
Hey, these are my expectations. I expect that to not happen, and then I'm sure Marquette wouldn't have done it. So I don't know. Gruden's something else, man. Love him or hate him, he's something else.
It's to me, it looks like it's old school mentality.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But at least we got to see Marquette do his thing with our team.
Salute to Marquette, man. Salute to Marquette.
Yeah, definitely. He did his thing. But now we have AJ Cole.
Yeah.
And we have Cash Money Carlson.
Yep.
Our kicker. So we are good.
Yeah, we're set.
As far as the punter and kicker. As far as the other positions within special teams, do you feel or see any particular need that we have? Obviously, other than what is it, punt returner?
No, I think we're good. I think we got everything we need on the team. Even like our gunners, I think we got enough fast athletes, so I really don't have too much concern, there. I think, we have, some good backup safeties that can move, and, even our backup linebackers, are good enough, I think. So, yeah, I don't have no real concerns there.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably like the only area of our team that we really don't have much to worry about.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried
so I think we're good. Anything else that you might want to add when it comes to special teams?
Not really. I think that I actually kind of like our special teams coordinator. I know coming in when we first got him, I was kind of confused because when he was with Denver, he was like one of the worst ranked, or at least they had kind of like the worst ranked special teams at the time. But, when I really got a chance to kind of listen to him talk, like, he's fiery. He kind of, he has that Raider attitude. It seemed like guys will really like to rally behind him. So, I like him, honestly. I'm good with
What's his name, by the way?
Tom McMahon. Yep.
He's been with us for a few years already, right?
Yeah, I think we had him since 22. Yeah, 22. So he must have came when, I think, is that when we got McDaniels? So yeah, I think he was part of McDaniels' crew.
McDaniels' team. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so far, in that aspect, we're definitely doing okay. Just we definitely need a returner.
Yeah.
We need somebody that can take it to the house.
Yeah.
And get us those 6 points. Give the offense a break.
Yeah, for sure.
So because one thing that surprises me, our defensive players, they're out on the field, they're busting their butts, they do what they got to do. They're tired. They sit on the bench. But if a returner brings the ball back, scores a touchdown, they're ready to go out there again.
Go. Yeah, they're ready. They're ready.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, they definitely get fired up. So yeah, they're and honestly, and a good special teams play can really change the momentum. Like you could see the morale change if there's a good return, a good kick return or punt return. That offense is running out there with a little more swag, a little more pep in their step. So yeah, it definitely can be a game changer.
I just remembered who was the player that returned the ball for the last player that returned the ball for a touchdown. It was Jacoby Ford.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
It's been that long?
Yes.
Gosh, that had to be in like 2011, 12?
Yes.
I feel like we had one since then. But maybe not. Maybe you're right.
I forgot where I think, was it a year show? I forgot who show I was watching, and they had mentioned that.
Wow.
They're like, the last person to bring one to the house was Jacoby Ford.
That's crazy. That's
and I'm like,
that's sad.
It is, man. It is. Not that the expectation is high to get, double digits, but 1 or 2 would be nice a season, right?
That's sad, man. You didn't have no gray in your beard last time that we.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Man, hopefully that changes. I'm feeling very confident with what our team's doing so far.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get all ecstatic and
Oh yeah,
excited yet.
You know, we're not drinking the Kool-Aid yet, man. So
Not yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least we know that special teams is taken care of.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right, Raider Nation. Well, that was Football 101. If you guys have any questions on special teams or anything that we covered today, drop us a line. Let us know. We would definitely get the information out to you, answer your questions, because obviously we're here to try and give you the information that you need and require. Me, myself, you know, I've learned a lot in the last few years when it comes to football in general, but also the importance of special teams. So again, any questions, let us know. Drop a line to Chris, to myself, you know, and we will definitely try and answer your questions. If you guys have any topics that you guys want to cover, that want us to cover for Football 101, again, let us know.
Yeah.
You know, we're here to help you understand, you know, the nuances of football, to try and get to the level of what Chris and the other content creators are at, you know, so we understand their way of thinking, their way of processing football, and not just watching the ball go from one side of the field.
Kind of learning the game, man, and that's what we're here for, man.
Yeah, you know, and let me tell you, man, I truly appreciate everything that you do, Chris. You, 805, Severe, Low, Gravy, all those guys, man. You know, I love all the content you put out there, Rundown, you know, because everybody has their point of view, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a perspective that we maybe not have ever thought of or not known of.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely appreciate everything that you guys put out there. Shout out to all of you guys.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it, really do.
Yes, sir. So that concludes Football 101. Chris, let them know what you got going, my brother. I know you're a very busy man outside of football, but also inside of football. Let us know what you got going on.
Yeah, man. You know, you guys know, man. You guys can catch me on Protect the Shield podcast, you know, on all social media platforms. You know, one thing about me, I'm very, I love talking ball. So, you know, never hesitate to, you know, just hit me up if you want to ask a question or just talk ball with me or debate about something. Like, hey, Chris, I saw you on Dub's show. You know, you said AOC is not that good. I want to debate you. Like, hey, let's have a conversation. And if it's a good conversation, you can come on my show and we can do it, you know? So that's the kind of person I am. But yeah, so, you know, I just like talking ball, man. And, you know, you can catch me every Tuesday and Sunday, you know, on the Raider War Room with my brothers, 805 and Severe. And then I have, you know, my show, you know, right now we're kind of waiting until training camp starts back up, but I have the Spicy Shield Talk. That's with my girl, Spicy Raider girl, you know, so we have that on Wednesdays. That's kind of just a fun show, kind of light, but, you know, we do like a lot of Raider games and just kind of talk ball. And then, you know, on Thursdays, that's when, you know, I'm going to have my Shield Talk Thursday, where it's going to be my solo show. And I'm kind of waiting closer to training camp then as well. Just when, you know, there's more stuff to talk about. Because right now, you know, a lot of the content creators, we're grasping for stuff, you know. So, you know, luckily, you know, the War Room, you know, all three of us are very knowledgeable. So we can kind of go deeper than a lot of people can. Pause. But, you know, we can really get into details of stuff, and, you know, we could break film down. So we kind of go other angles that others can't. So, you know, definitely check us out.
Make it fun, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You make it fun.
For sure.
You have that, what is it, that start 'em, bench 'em, sit 'em?
Yeah.
Start 'em, bench 'em, cut 'em.
Yeah, start 'em, bench 'em, cut 'em. Yeah, and we're trying to come up with different games, because we like the chat to get interactive and join as well and have fun and stuff like that. To me, that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
It is. You know, just keeping the Raider Nation involved.
Yeah.
Keeping them informed. Even though there's not a lot of information out there now, but, you know, there's always something to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely something to talk about, and you will not go wrong following Chris, watching what he does. You know, his content is fire.
Appreciate it.
It is very informative, you know, and it's very, how to say, is it pleasing, I guess would be the term, because it's not difficult to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's not like very, very complicated. You know, it's obviously it is at another level, but it's still understandable.
Good, yeah,
That
and that's what I try to do, man. I try to make it understandable, relatable, but then also, you know, something that you can really learn from too. Like, hey, I didn't, and even my takes, like, you know, everyone don't agree with my takes, and that's great. You know, everyone shouldn't agree with them, but at least you can understand my perspective, because I try to, you know, I try to outline how I got to that point,
Right.
you know, and I think that's one thing I'm good at. I don't usually just, you know, spit out, you know, random stuff. Like if I have a take that's kind of against the grain, I'll peel that onion back and let you know how I got there. So, you know, that's all you can do.
Yeah, and you know, that's all I've heard from other content creators about you is, you know, the information that you put out there, the interaction that you have with them, you know, is just, it's very easy to digest. You know, it's,
glad to hear that.
It's easy to listen to, and not necessarily accept, but respect your point of view.
Yeah. That's all we can do.
And that's what's important. So again, Raider Nation, follow Chris from Protect the Shield. He's got it going on in various places. War Room, Spicy's Chill Talk.
TRS. Don't forget my boys TRS. Yeah, TRS.
Right.
We're going to try to get, you know, a show, you know, at least every month or so, at least, you know, just to try to get all the gang back together, and so we can yell at each other.
Busy, huh?
Yeah, so we can yell at each other. But, you know, that's a good show. That's definitely a good show.
Yeah,
too.
it is.
TRS is the Raider Syndicate. You know, for those that don't know, it's myself, the Raider Rundown, Cheeto Linus, aka Leo, and Turf, the Ultimate Raider Fan 32. So it's us four, and Severe. Severe is actually part of TRS now as well. So
That's
you know,
dope.
it's a great crew, man. We're brothers. Like, we literally talk every day. Like our live or our group chat. It's just iron sharpens iron, because we're all so different, you know, all walks of life, and we really keep each other sharp. So, you know, I love my brothers, man.
You know, and it's funny that you say that, because I just recently interviewed Severe, which is the next episode of Raider Nation Roll Call dropping on Tuesday.
Yeah.
He was actually texting in your group chat while we were hanging out.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, you know, I'm texting with TRS, and, you know, this is an all-day thing.
All day.
Every day.
All day. And we're all I'm on a different time zone. So, you know, like, I'm up early while they're still asleep talking, and then late at night when I'm asleep, they're still, I mean, it's just it's a brotherhood, man. And we keep each other sharp.
You know, and that's something that we can definitely learn from Raider Nation, you know, that it doesn't matter where we are, what we do, what we believe, you know, we can all be brothers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, look at these guys, look at us.
Yeah.
You know, we're on two sides of the country, but yet, you know, we still come together to put content out for you.
Closer to you than, you know, some people that I've known my whole life, you know, and I probably only met you in person.
Same here.
You know, a couple times, man. And I feel like, you know, just these shows that we do, you know, little hour, 45-minute shows. And plus we talk outside of this as well. So
yeah, definitely.
I consider you a dear friend and a brother. So, man, and the Raiders made this happen, man. So salute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know, and that's another, I guess, positive about being part of the Raider Nation is that it's a big family.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big family, and all it is, it's positivity.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, just like any family, there are some beefs.
Yeah.
Once in a while, but you know,
just like real family. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You know, so it happens, but at the end of the day, we're all family. You know, it's all love.
Yeah.
It's all love. All right, Raider Nation, as far as myself, as you know, I'm here with Chris every week doing the Weekly Wire, trying to give you as much news as possible. Obviously, right now, it's kind of thin, but, you know, we're going to try and stretch it out as much as we can. Also, I got the Raider Nation Roll Call. Like I mentioned earlier, I just finished interviewing Severe Raider, 1/3 of the Raider War Room, this past Wednesday, I believe it was. Fire interview. It's going to come out this Tuesday. Oh, you don't want to miss it.
Oh, yeah.
Please like, subscribe. And then also, started the Stogie Nation back up with Pedro from Legacy of the Shield.
Nice.
You know, we're going to be doing cigar reviews, lounge reviews, talking about Raider Ball, Raider Nation, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know, we have a couple of interviews lined up. We got a couple of cigar lounges lined up. We got definitely a bunch of cigar reviews lined up. So, you know, we definitely have a lot of content coming towards you. Just please like, subscribe, follow. Let the Raider Nation know of what we do, because everything we do is for your entertainment, for your information. You know, if there's anything that you guys want to hear, learn about, you know, or any cigars, anything, let us know. You know, we're an open book. You know, we definitely want the feedback. We definitely want to hear from you. That way, the content that we actually create is going to entertain you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're here for.
I do got something for you though. Next time you talk to MC Raider, make fun of him for smoking a bubblegum flavored cigar when we were in Detroit.
He told me about that.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, he told me about that.
He had a bubblegum flavored cigar.
Yeah, he said he couldn't pass that one up.
Yeah.
You know, even though he's not like a flavored cigar smoker.
Yeah, he was all about that. He was all about that.
He said it was a bomb.
Yeah, in fact, Leo may have got one too, if I remember right. I'm not sure though. I think I got one that was chocolate and maybe mint or something. But yeah,
Okay.
they got the bubble gum, man. Because I don't know about California, but I know in Ohio they don't sell any like flavored cigar. I think it's against the law now. They used to, but yeah, I don't know if California's like that.
No, they still have flavored cigars. They have infused cigars.
Yeah, okay.
They infuse them with like different types of alcohol and stuff.
Okay.
So they still sell them. I'm just not big on those.
Yeah.
They remind me of Swisher Sweets.
Yeah.
So I mess with those. But yeah, no, you know, they're definitely out there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a market for them.
Yeah.
I'm just not part of that.
Well, yeah, you're a real smoker. See, someone like me, I'll just do a couple per year, but I'll never do a bubble gum one. That never.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line, MC Raider.
There you go. Yes, sir. But Raider Nation, also, I just wanted to mention, we have an event coming up here in Southern California. We have a Raider Blackout of Bolsa Chica Beach coming, oh my God, July 26th, I believe the date is. It's going to be at Bolsa Chica Beach in Orange County. If you guys are in the area, come down. It's going to be fire. It's a lot of the Raider Nation is going to come together, hang out at the beach, you know, and just have a good time. It's organized by Raiders Against the World. Mike, shout out my brother. You know, he is doing a lot of great things. A lot of the Raider Nation from Southern California is going to be there, from Arizona, from Nevada. I've heard even Northern California is going to come down. It's going to be a great event. Also, there is, I believe, an event happening in Mexico, in Baja. They're having a meetup and watch party at, I think it's Papas and Beer in Ensenada. Check that out. Check your social media. It's they're already promoting it. There's another event happening in Arizona. I'll start giving more information on social media as the months come closer. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, Raider Nation. We, Chris, 805, Severe, we're going to meet up for week 2, our home opener in Vegas. You know, we're planning on doing some events. I'm right now going to work on getting a meet and greet at a cigar lounge in the area. Hopefully we can make that happen. And also, I believe 805 is working on getting something for the War Room, and also a meet and greet. So if you guys are in the area, you guys are going to go to the game, come through, hang out. We chop it up, have some drinks, have some sticks, you know, just have a good time. But other than that, Chris, you got anything else to tell the Raider Nation?
I'm good, man. I'm just excited, man. I'm excited for, you know, what's coming. I'm so proud of you and everything that you're doing, you know, all this content. So it's a good time to be a Raider fan, man. Yes, and it's always easy during the off season to be a Raider. Of course. Yeah, before we start getting beat.
Remember, everything that I've done to the point that I've gotten to is because of you.
Yeah.
You, MC Raider, and Cheeto Linus.
Appreciate
you guys have been my rock. The guys that have set the example for me and have pushed me forward to do everything that I do. So I really appreciate you guys.
I appreciate that, man. You know, appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate all your support, you know, everything that you do, you know. And again, Raider Nation, thanks for being here today. Raider Nation Weekly Wire. Don't forget that everything we do is for the nation, by the nation.